Hi, my name is Christina, and the professional development strategy I'm focusing on today is professional learning communities, and the instructional strategy is response to intervention, or RTI. Professional learning communities and RTI, catching students before they fall. First, I will outline what professional learning communities and RTI is, and then I will go into how they work together. Richard Dufour describes a PLC as a term to describe every imaginable combination of individuals with an interest in education. And he goes on to say that it can consist of grade level teaching teams, a school committee, a high school department, an entire school district, etc. But he also goes on to say that the term is being used for so many different groups that it's starting to lose its meaning. And the image on the right just represents the key questions of a PLC. What do we want students to learn? How will we know if they learn it? What will we do if they didn't learn it? What will we do if they already know it? And it's a cycle kind of process. Next is RTI, or response to intervention. Response to intervention is a multi-tier approach to the early identification support of students with learning and behavior needs. The RTI process begins with high-quality instruction and universal screening of all children in the general education classroom. It's that idea of catching students before they fall, intervening before their assessment of some sort, and the tier on the right represents how RTI works. So at the top is 80 to 90% of students, or in most school systems, 100% of students should be receiving Tier 1 strategies, high quality research-based instruction. And then a smaller group of students will move on to Tier 2, individualized supports for underachieving students, supplemental instruction, remediation, and then from that, students who are still struggling get Tier 3, which is an intensive level intervention. So how do these two work together? So PLCs use light course teachers, mostly, like Richard Dufour outlined. It could be a number of different kind of groups. I'm just using kind of one example. Common units, common assessments. RTI assesses student strengths and weaknesses and provides interventions based on weaknesses. And then combined, the PLCs would share assessment results and devise intervention strategies, and they would continually report back and readjust instructional strategies as needed. So I'm going to provide just one example of how PLC and RTI could work together in an English PLC. The PLC would form a common formative assessment. Let's say it's an essay where we're focusing on a specific skill, say argumentative writing. The PLC would create a pretest to assess certain skills. Maybe the PLC wanted to focus on introductions and conclusions. The PLC would then meet and devise instructional approaches based on the pretest and how the students did. It would form common formative assessment for that, so that would be the essay. The PLC would then meet and analyze student strengths and weaknesses after the students take those small formative assessments, so they might be exit slips and practice writing. The PLC would get together and look at those and say, well, where are they struggling and how can we provide them more support? The PLC then implements RTI approach and then implement strategies to adjust for Tier 1, 2, and 3 level students. The students would then take the post-test or the post-assessment, which would be an essay again, and look at the results as a team. And then the PLC finally would meet and target specific skills to target next unit. So after the post-test, they would say, they would ask themselves, what did the students master? What as a whole were the weaknesses? And also continue RTI, what students still need level 2 and 3 RTI approach in order to be successful. We don't want to leave them behind. So this is just one example of how professional learning communities, professional development can enhance response to intervention to increase student achievement in the classroom.